Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
And welcome into Life Planning 101 right here on KTX, KWBY. It's a beautiful Monday morning, and Angela Robinson joined us as usual, and she has a special guest, but not a stranger to Life Planning 101.
We do have an incredible guest on today, and I'm really excited to have him back on the show. I tell you what, he has got some information that is phenomenal. He's one of those people in life, and I think of people like this about like Richard Branson. Richard Branson, he's made every business that he has out of seeing a problem with something and then going to work on what that problem was to be able to help the greater good. And this is exactly what this gentleman has done in the world of credit, because the credit world is something that nobody understands. It is just totally confusing. And this gentleman was a mortgage broker. And in response to what he kept seeing in the industry about borrowers that had to pay for their mortgages on time, turned down for loans, and even worse, they were paying like sky high interest rates, even though they could pay for it. They ended up paying six figures or more in extra interest that they didn't need to be paying. And he said, well, why is this happening? It's highway robbery. So what was he able to find? And, one of the things he did is he went to the table and started figuring out the rules of so-called the credit game. What made it tick? How did all of this work? And how could he get this to consumers to be able to teach them to improve their credit score? We always hear about these agencies that just clean up credit, but we never hear about how to rebuild our credit or how to make it really good. Well, that's what he took as his bread and butter and saw this world of need out there. So he interviewed everything from credit card collection attorneys, studied the repossession, foreclosure, bankruptcy facts, devised a system to determine how credit cards can impact a credit score, which he calls the credit card score. And all of this information has been used in a proprietary credit education program to help 15,000 students transform their credit scores in 12 to 24 months.
Wow.
Is that not impressive? So what we're really excited about to have him on the show today is because we all know as parents or grandparents that we want to help our children get the best start in life. Sometimes we are the ones that need the help with our credit, but more so we're concerned about our children and grandchildren. Imagine that you could save your children and grandchildren 5 figures, 6 figures over their lifetime just because you help them establish great credit. So there's no better time of year to be discussing this than over Thanksgiving, Christmas, when the holidays are around, right? Nobody may not want to think about credit as a gift, but wouldn't it be a great gift?
Especially around the Christmas holidays, because that's what people tend to load up those credit cards. And
this is right. We're doing this before Black Friday,
Yeah.
So anyway, so without further ado, I want to introduce to you Mr. Philip Tirone, the originator of 7 Steps to a 720 Credit Score. Thanks so much, Phil, for being on.
Hey, it is fantastic to be on. And I got to tell you, some of what you were saying, I'm not, thank you for that, but that was a little over the top interview. I'm gracious, but I wouldn't so much compare me to Richard Branson. I mean, I'm a simple guy trying to figure out the credit game.
I think Richard Branson would probably say the same thing, though. So you're not going to fight that one, Phil.
Well, and by the way, we've learned so much since our last interview. And so we've had now 65,000 people through the program.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we have just, what happened is a bankruptcy attorney approached me and said, gosh, I really love your model. Now, I was trying to go individual for years, right? And once the bankruptcy attorney turned to us to help their clients rebuild the credit score, all of a sudden it just exploded with other bankruptcy attorneys because they start talking to each other. So we've had 65,000 people through the program, and as you'll hear, this is pretty easy. This is not complicated. This is not writing a bunch of letters. This isn't complicated at all. And, and it's a gift you can give your grandkids and your kids that will literally last them for their life. Because once you understand this scam, then it's no longer a scam because you know the rules. And that's the biggest problem frankly, it sounds bad, but I truly believe it after doing this so many times. The banks want to keep this confusing because if the difference between, recently, and I'm going to give this one stat, then I'll give it back to you, Angela, but it's so important. On a $15,000 car, the difference between someone having a 720 credit score, and this is according to my FICO, and sort of like a subprime credit score, meaning like under 600, we're talking $250 a month on a $15,000 car. Forget the 600 credit score at 669 or 659 under 660. It's $100 a month. So we're talking real money.
And that's the bank's profit. That's right. So, wow. Yep. And that gives good reason. We've all, in our industry, we always say the banks create more and more regulation all the time because they just keep finding loopholes and things to be able to jump through and make profit. So here is another one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, Phil, we are so excited to hear. I know you're going to give us all kinds of things, misconceptions about credit, the easiest way to fix it, and how to get started right away.
And welcome back to Life Planning 101 right here on KTX, KWBY. Terry Slavens, Angela Robinson, and Phil Tirone with us this morning.
Yes, founder and creator of 7 Steps to a 720 credit score, which everybody wants, but nobody knows how to get. So, Phil, we're going to turn it over to you about these crazy misconceptions about credit and the easiest way that you can fix it.
Fantastic. And once again, thank you for having me on. I was thinking about, in preparation for this call, like what do you really need? Like, what are the simple things? I mean, because we don't have time to go through 7 steps. Like, what are the 3 things you absolutely need to do? And this is sort of different than a typical message sometimes I would give to people who just filed bankruptcy or just had a foreclosure. But I'll tell you, it all starts with errors. Errors on a credit score are the killer. And the reason why is tens of millions of people across the country have these errors, and they don't even know they have them on their credit report. So they're operating as if they have bad credit, but they really don't.
So as errors, you mean like that just something's not reporting right, or it's incorrect, that there's no validity to it?
Exactly. I mean, it's sort of like a collection that reported twice, but it should be reporting once. Or a credit card that's not reporting the proper credit limit. Like, these are real errors that have significant impact on the credit score. And if you fix these errors, literally you can sway a credit score 30, 60, 100 points in 30, 60 days. Now, here's one thing that I just want to caution all the listeners to. If you go online, now all these credit bureaus have these new portals where you can fix your errors online. The problem with that, if when you do that, you inadvertently sign an arbitration clause, which states you're not going to sue. But what I've learned after 65,000 people have gone through our program, that there are certain times we have to lean into the law in order to fix the credit. And it's called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But basically, the Fair Credit Reporting Act says, look, if there's an error on your credit report, you have one time to fix it, or else there's consequences to the creditor. Now, in the old days, probably the last time I was on, I didn't understand this law like I understand now. So the key is, when people go through our program, we have these letters that are all pre-written. You print out the letter for what you need, and you mail it certified letter. I know how archaic that sounds. It's like, why aren't we doing it online? Isn't there an easier way? But let me tell you, when the bureaus see a certified letter come in, I can tell you with absolute certainty, 95 to 97% of the time, that'll be fixed on the first try. Now, even better, if it's not fixed, I can tell you with 100% certainty, it'll get fixed when you file a claim with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So before, the old days, we would send letters, literally, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters, nothing would fix. Now we've got it down, and in 45 days, you can absolutely get an error off your credit report, or it will come off for sure. So that's
great.
Really the first step.
Yeah, and especially, when you talk about these errors, I'm just sitting here thinking, I need to pull my credit report and look at that. So, because that could be anybody.
Well, if you want to really have an enjoyable laugh, type in 60 Minutes Credit Bureaus, and they did a segment on the credit bureaus and these errors. And literally, They fix them from Ecuador. Okay? It's a South American company where some guy who's making X number of dollars an hour, I have no idea. Good for him for providing for his family. But literally, he's fixing errors without a phone on his desk. Okay, there's no phone on the desk, and he's working these errors. This is why it never works. But fortunately, we have the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and as long as it's an error, we can get it off with absolute certainty.
Well,
So
yeah.
it's an
I guess
absolute
government
win from that.
regulation's good for something, Phil. This is good.
There are wins there, but not always, but there are wins.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the first thing, errors. You want me to go to the second one?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
We're
So
hungry. Give it to us.
Okay. So the second one is you need credit. And by the way, with the first one, let's just pretend your child or grandchild, they didn't think about credit for, the first 5 years out of school, right? And they have 50 late payments. I just want to tell everybody it doesn't matter, okay? Because you don't need a clean credit report to have a high credit score. Just want to repeat that. You don't need a clean credit report to have a high credit score. I take people with a bankruptcy and a foreclosure today and 20 late payments, and I can get them to a 720 credit score in less than a year.
Wow.
Okay? And that's an extreme case, right?
Yeah.
So you don't need a high credit or clean credit report to have a high credit score. And by the way, the credit repair companies won't tell you that. They'll say, oh, no, you need everything clean, and by the way, write a check for $3,000. Right? So anyway, you don't have to do that. The second step is you need credit, and you need different types of credit. You need revolving, as we've talked about on this program before. You need 3 revolving credit cards and 1 type of installment line.
Right.
An installment line is a payment that is the same payment for the duration of the term, and a revolving is like a credit card where you have a $100 limit and you charge something and pay it off. So that's number 2. You got to get those things reporting, because if you don't have any credit, it's as bad as having bad credit. So if you don't have any credit, it's as bad as having bad credit.
I'm glad you said that, because, we aim this show ideally for parents and grandparents, but there's another demographic that I think we forget about sometimes, and that's retirees. They get out of the habit of using their credit, and it seems fine until there's a death. And then if there's, a need for any kind of credit, it's almost impossible, because just to your point, they've stopped using it altogether.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's unfortunate. I see it a lot with people that have financial meltdowns. They have financial meltdowns, and the response is trying to be responsible. They say, I'm wiping my hands free of credit. I'm cash only.
Right.
And, there's a lot of practicality to that, but there's a lot of impracticality, okay? Most people don't buy, especially right now where you can get a 30-year fixed-rate FHA loan for 4%.
Right.
Most people aren't able, or your kids and grandkids especially, buy a home for cash.
Yeah, and
not
even
lean
if
into
you
that?
are, and even if you're a millionaire, my point to that is it's like having insurance. It's like having that backup plan. And if you don't have that backup plan there, then what?
Absolutely. No, I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's powerful. So we've got errors. We've got, making sure
Revolving.
We've got the right types of credit.
Right.
What would be the third most common misconception that you're seeing?
Well, you got to play the credit game, okay? So common thing that I see all the time, and your kids and grandkids are probably doing this inadvertently. Okay, we're married now. Everything gets joint. Everything, all credit is joint, and all credit is together, whether you need it or not, okay? Or we're going to get a car. Put husband and wife on it. Everything is joint. And I want to make it clear. I'm not talking about title. Like, I'm not saying don't
own things
separate.
jointly. Right.
Yeah, I'm
You're
not
talking
saying
about the
don't
loan
own
itself.
things. I'm not the loan itself. Why double up on everything, right? And I saw this early on in the mortgage industry, how one car payment could tank. I'm talking tank qualifying for a loan, home loan. And I thought to myself, this is shocking. Like, this Honda Civic loan is ruining this person's ability to get a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at 3.5%.
Wow.
Right? And I said, the irony about that. So what I started doing with my life is I started separating our credit. So an easy way to do it. Now, with a mortgage, it's different because a mortgage, typically you need the husband and wife to qualify, right? If you don't, you can do the same thing with the mortgage. With a car, right now, car loans out there right now, there's plenty of car loans that don't rely on income, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is you go to the person, the non-earner of the family. So if the wife stays at home, you do it in her name. If the husband stays at home, you do it in his name. And you put the cars in their name, right? So when you're qualifying for a home loan or something like that, we're not getting hit. See, the thing is, as part of our program with 7-Step 720 credit score, we want to be strategic. How can we be strategic and lean into credit so that we can save money, right? Our clients can save money and move on with their life. And really think about it, learn these steps one time, and then really never thinking about it again because they're that simple. And those are really the 3 points that I really wanted to get across for the parents and grandparents on this call.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to have more from Phil Tirone on the easiest way to improve your credit score and never be impacted again, and how you can actually do this for your kids and your grandkids this holiday season.
Final 6 minutes of Life Planning 101 right here on KTX KWBY. Angela?
Yes, and we have special guest Phil Tirone with us, the creator and founder of 7 Steps to a 720 Credit Score. And Terry, we were talking in the break, you brought up a great point that, your credit score not only affects what interest rate you're going to get, which could be a 6-figure impact or even possibly more over your lifetime, depending on what you have, but also, it impacts what your insurance premiums are. It impacts whether or not you can get a job. Or a career. I was thinking about that. We hire people, we look at their credit, and if they have problems with their credit, we're in the financial industry. That's a big thing. And so, for you as parents and grandparents to be able to help your kids set them on a solid footing, and, Phil just brought up right before the break that this is a solid footing that you get right once, and then it's set. It's set to go so that you can have a great life and not have to be able to worry about this or not have to be a continual thing that you're always looking down on and having to spend a lot of time with. So with no further ado, I want to get Phil back on the show. And I tell you what, I love this guy. I mean, here's a guy that took a very bad experience in life and turned it into something to be able to help so many people. And I just think it's wonderful, and even more wonderful that he's on our show today, being able to help your children with the coming months and their lives and possibly their children's lives.
Good to be here, Angela. I'm grateful. I mean, I hear what you're saying about the getting a car or getting a job, insurance rates, all these things that no one really thinks about. And really, the reality is, if you saw what I saw, you would see the average family is getting stipends through a slow bleed, hundreds of dollars a month, and they don't even realize it. Right? It's like that proverbial how do you boil the frog?
Yeah. Right.
You just turn it on little by little until they don't even realize they're in boiling water.
So we're all in boiling water, is what you're telling us.
Well, what's happening is to a certain degree, unless you have no loans whatsoever or you fully understand this, you're overpaying in certain things, whether it's fees, whether it's interest rate. And the sad thing is about this Gen X society, this society that just now, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be Gen X, but like we're talking like 30 or 40 and below, they're just out of touch with it. Absolutely. So this is why. So we created a program, and you don't even know this, Angela, but we're doing something specifically for Kennedy clients that's unique, and I'm super excited about this. We rolled this out a year ago, right? And this is something, it could be just an easy gift for a parent or grandparent that will literally last decades. And so we reviewed what you need to do, right? You need to get the errors off your credit report. You need to get the right credit, and then you need to play the game, right?
Right.
So how do we solve all this for our clients? Because the old day, as you recall, it's like there's a lot of work that the person has to do. And the reason why the person has to do some work is because we can't open accounts in your name, right? It's impossible,
correct,
right? And we can't do certain things. But we took as much as we could off their plate. So we have this thing now called the Credit Rebuilder Program. And to begin, the first step is we get the errors off your credit report. And the very first thing we do when someone signs up for the Credit Rebuild Program or they sign their kids up, we review their credit report for errors, just like we talked about in step one, right? If an error is on the credit report, we will send out letters on their behalf, certified letters, just like we talked about. So they don't have to do it, right?
Awesome.
Now, we do this for a husband and wife. So if you're married, we review 2 credit reports, and we send 2 sets of letters out, right? This is all for the same price, okay? Step number 2, they get access to 7 steps to 720 credit score with the videos. They get 1 video a week saying, watch this video. The video is between 2 and 8 minutes long. Simple. They get access for a year.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I mean, we just keep enhancing it from what we're learning, right?
Sure.
But more importantly, you know how we talked about how you need credit?
Yeah.
The biggest problem that people have are these installment lines, getting an installment line. 1, if they have bad credit, they can't get it, right? They can't get an installment line. But 2, what a problem I saw is people were thinking, oh, I'm going to go buy a car. Like, buy a car? What are you talking about? Well, I need the installment line. I'm buying a car to get credit. I'm like, no, you got it wrong. You don't want to get a car. So what we do is through this program, we report to the bureaus because you're paying us. We report 12 on-time payments.
The installment loan. Good job.
As an installment line. Yeah, well, it's a line, not a loan, because we don't lend any money.
Okay.
But still, it's 12-month reporting. This alone will increase someone's credit score 50 to 100 points.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah. So it pays to rebuild your credit.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's where we're trying to figure this out where we can educate people without them going into debt, and it makes it easy, right?
Right.
So, and then they get all the quick tips, the question answer calls. They get priority customer service. So if they call in, we can get their question answered right away. Yeah. So normally, if you go to our site, that's $468. That's 12 payments of $39, right? What we're doing for Kennedy, and all you do is you can't even go online to get this because I don't have it set up like that, frankly. It's just for your clients. You email either you or however you want to set this up, where they email you and you email me, or email directly support at 720 credit score, and we'll give you everything for a one-time fee of $300.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Phil. You're right. I didn't know about that. You and Brett have been working magic back there. I appreciate that.
Well, 35% discount, included husband and wife, and it's a gift that will last literally for decades.
A lifetime, right. And you can email us at lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. That's lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. So, Phil, I hate to do this to you. We've got to cut you off. We're running out of time, but we just can't thank you enough for what you do for us and our clients, and your passion in life, because it truly is something that's making the world a better place. So thank you so much, and God bless you, and God bless all of our listeners. My name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services right here in the great state of Texas.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.